In this lecture, we will be talking about foreign exchange market. Now, many of you perhaps have traveled to other countries, and in those countries they use a different currency. Now, obviously, they often don't accept US dollar, so you have to convert your US dollar into their local currencies. Now, the question is at what rate your US dollar should be converted into those currencies. And that's the topic of the foreign exchange market. Before we go into details, let's try to get ahead with some of the definitions. So first is the exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another currency. For example, if you travel to Canada, typically Canadian dollars are often 10% discounted, which means that one US dollar is equivalent to having $1.10 in Canadian dollars. There's another term called foreign exchange market. This is the financial market where exchange rates are determined. So there's a market where actually these exchange rates are determined, like the stock markets or the bonds market. And we'll be talking about those markets later on. First, we'll focus on the foreign exchange per se, or the exchange rate. Few more definitions. When we say appreciation, that means when the currency is appreciating, it means the currency is rising in value relative to another currency. When the currency loses value, we call it depreciation, which is a situation where currency falls in value relative to another currency. There are two ways in which you can denote exchange rates. Let's assume that there is US dollar and euro. So euro is the currency that's used in the European Union, and US dollar is the currency that's used in the US. Now you can either show euro per dollar, that means how many euros $1 can buy, and you can see here this is the exchange rate of euro per dollar. This is the exchange rate for euro per dollar, and you can see it here during the period 2016 to 2020. It varies a lot, right? It varies a lot. And this is the situation when actually US dollar depreciated. That means they lost value. Why is depreciated? Because here one US dollar was buying around 0.95 euro. Here at this point they are only buying about 0.8 euro. So at this point it is 0.8 euro per dollar, which means $1 now buying only about 80 cents or euro cents. So which means that dollar can buy less of euro. That means dollar is depreciating. On the other hand, when it is going up in this, where dollar is appreciating. Here dollar is appreciating. Now there's another way you can show all these things, which is in terms of dollar per euro. So in the first case here we measured euro per dollar. That means how much is $1, how much euro it can buy. We can also denote it by how much dollar 1 euro can buy. So this is how much dollar 1 euro can buy. And this is how much euro $1 can buy. Now that graph would look a little different. Now this is a mirror image. So this is a mirror image because now we are measuring, in this case we are measuring dollar per euro. So you are measuring how much dollar the euro can buy. Now in this case, when this is going up, which is the same thing here, this is a mirror image, right? Here US dollar depreciating or euro appreciating. So you need to be very careful about whether you are measuring this by euro per dollar or dollar per euro. because based on that your interpretation of these graphs will change. So in the first graph, this one, where actually US dollar is depreciated though and the graph is going down, but in this case when graph is going up, the US dollars is depreciating because now euro can buy more and more dollar. And always remember, if one currency goes up, appreciates, other has to depreciate by definition. So let's move on and let's try to discuss few more things. Let's discuss some of the exchange rates dollar against some of the major currencies. So this is the exchange rate against GBP, which is British pound, which is dollar, or how many British pounds $1 can buy. And you can see here again it varies a lot. This is the time when dollar appreciated. This is the time when dollar depreciated. This is the same graph but for Indian rupee. Rupee is the currency in India, so it's Indian rupee per dollar. Again, when it is going up, dollar appreciate and INR depreciate, and vice versa around this time. This is for Canadian dollars. So this is Canadian dollars per US dollar, and this is Chinese yuan or renminbi. So it is yuan per dollar. So yuan is the currency that's used in China. And in this case, this is where dollar is appreciating. This is here dollar is depreciating. That means yuan appreciate and dollar depreciate. So you need to be very careful about what's your base currency. Are we calculating dollar per yuan or yuan per dollar? In this case, we are calculating yuan per dollar. Now let's continue this understanding of foreign exchange and why do we care about foreign exchange. And here's the basic reason. When a country's currency appreciates, the country's goods and abroad becomes more expensive and foreign goods in that country becomes less expensive and vice versa. So for us, if US dollar is appreciating, say, against Chinese yuan, that means US dollar can buy more and more yuan, which essentially means that for US it's very cheap to buy Chinese products. If Chinese yuan depreciates, which means that it's very expensive for the people in China to buy US product, which essentially means that if we buy more from China, if currency appreciate, which means increase in import. That means we are going to buy more from other countries. If currency depreciate, this leads to increase in export. That means we are going to sell more to other countries. Now, when currency depreciates, it's very expensive for us to buy foreign products, so we will be importing less, but for foreigners, it will be very cheap to buy US product. So this is very important in the realm of international trade, especially exchange rates. And later on, we'll talk about why China tried to undervalue their currency. Mind you, when China undervalues their currency, they are appreciating the US dollar, which is good for us because we can buy a lot of Chinese products, but again, it has other implications. But before we go in there in later lectures, let's do some class exercises. So in this class exercise in 1999, US dollar was trading at 0.9 euro per USD. If the dollar is now trading at euro 1.1 per USD, is this appreciation or depreciation of USD? Now in 1999, so let's write it down, 0.9 euro per dollar. Today, 2020, this is 1.1 euro per dollar. So in this case, our dollar, US dollar, can buy more euro. If our dollar can buy more euro, which means US dollar appreciated. So there is an appreciation of dollar. At the same time, euro depreciated, because if from European perspective, now they can't buy so much of US dollar because their currency lost value. Let's do one more exercise. A German sports car is selling for 70,000 euros. What is the dollar price in the United States of the German car if the exchange rate is 0.9 euro per dollar? So we have to convert. So you are buying this German car in euro and bringing to US. Obviously, you have to pay in dollars. Now, how much would be the dollar price? That's what we want to figure out. So we all know 0.9 euro is equal to $1. That's the exchange rate. So 1 euro would be $1 over 0.9. So 70,000 euro would be $1 times 70,000 over 0.9, which gives you $77,777.78. So this would be the dollar price of the car, which costs about euro 70,000 euro. So this is how 70,000 euros looks like in dollar, given the exchange rate is this much. And that's why we need to use exchange rates. Those of you who have studied abroad, mind you, if your foreign currency is depreciating, that means for you it's very cheap to go to abroad and study there. On the other hand, foreign students who are coming to US to study is very expensive to study if US dollar appreciates, because their foreign currency will not be able to afford a lot of US dollars.